Hi there folks, welcome to another edition of a vidcast on my channel, and today I'm actually going to be talking about the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting. So basically we have an old saying in the English language of you are what you eat. However, for most of us that hasn't actually been entirely true, because what we actually are is mainly, in terms of our physical bodies, is mainly fats and proteins. We don't have carbohydrates in our bodies. We don't actually have sugar or too much glycogen going on in our bodies. So yeah, if we look at wheat, rice, these are all grasses. These are all grasses that are meant to be eaten by animals like cows and deer and elk, animals with multi-stomachs. We've only got one. So basically carbs, sugars and oils, especially because they're oxidized. So think of blueberries, antioxidants. You don't want oils in your system either. These are all foreign properties to us. So on a ketogenic diet, what it says basically is, look, we are basically 70% fat, 20% muscle or protein, and basically live to those things. With regard to the 5% carbs, many vegetables and fruits have small levels of carbs in them, so you can't sort of get away from that as such. But on the other hand, you can keep those carbs down to a minimum. That's why they say 5%. So now that I've talked about that, I'm really now looking at basically what you can eat and what you can't eat. So really, yeah, all the grains, beans, sugar, even milk. I mean, if you read this list here on the right hand side, you can see what you can't eat, and then you can see what you can eat. I really don't have any problems with that as such. What I found from my own personal experience from doing the keto, I've only been doing it about a week now. The first 3-4 days I actually came down with what they term the Keto Flu, and that basically is where you feel lethargic, you feel drained and you feel a bit irritable, and I've got to admit I did feel a bit like that for the last few days. But basically what was happening was my body wasn't actually used to getting its energy from fat. I've trained my body just to get its energy from carbs basically. So I went through that change, and now in that respect I'm actually feeling much better. So going back to the keto diet, what you tend to do is you tend to eat really well for like 2 or 3 days in a row, and then you'll wake up the third day and you won't want to eat anything till maybe the evening, and even then it'll only probably be something like a vegetable soup or something. But that's basically how our ancestors lived. They hunted in the wild, they ate mainly meat. In the autumn they'd get a few bits of fruit, so maybe once or twice a year they'd find the honey tree and gouge out on honey, which basically is 81% carbs, which most of that is sugar. So they would eat those carbs, but very rarely, more of a celebration thing, just to get it out of their system. But you'll find once you actually start doing this diet, you'll naturally lose the impetus to go on to those no can do foods. You just won't want to do them. You'll get all sorts of thoughts about food, cakes, all things that you've had before, sweets, etc. But they just won't mean anything to you now, because you're basically putting your body, I put my body into ketosis. So what does actually ketosis mean? Well, it's like this. Your liver actually deals with digesting fats, and it gets help from the gallbladder. Now, if you do have gallbladder problems, I would advise definitely don't do this diet, because you are going to put a lot of fats in your system. Now, when those fats start getting introduced to your gallbladder, and especially your liver says, hold on a minute here, what's going on here? This is a lot I'm going to have to work overtime. So what it does is it releases 2 types of ketones, which you can look up on Wikipedia. And when those 2 ketones actually break down, they create a third one called acetone. So you've basically got those sort of 3 ketones kicking around in your system, and what they actually do is actually start to heal the internal organs and actually start making you feel better, getting rid of aches and pains, headaches, all of that business. And it basically just, sorts your body out. Now, the other problem with sugar and carbs is that you basically activating your pancreas and your insulin levels, and basically when you spike your insulin levels, you're actually doing the opposite of releasing ketones. When you spike your insulin levels, you're actually breaking down and destroying your cells and your organs, your skin, etc., your body basically. So that's why it's so important to consider this diet. But I actually find it very handy in terms of once you've done a day or 2 of eating really well, your body just says, look, that's enough. And then for 2 or 3 days, you don't really have to worry about food. You can prioritize more important things in your life. My kitchen I'm using at the moment looks totally different to what I had before. It's much more slimline but effective. So yeah, that's basically the basics of keto. Now in terms of social media and stuff, the ones that I found out from it are Dr. Berry on YouTube, Dr. Berg, and you'll find a couple of other doctors associated with them. I would definitely look them up and look at their videos on YouTube. They answer a lot of questions and a lot of FUD, which is fear, uncertainty and doubt, and it should be leaving you with FOMO, FOMO, which is fear of missing out. And that's what basically happened to me. I thought to myself, I don't want to miss out on this. I want to get myself healthy as I can. And even though I had to go through the Keto Flu and everything, it was worth it in the end. So yeah, that I think could be a game changer. Now, one thing I also wanted to say was when you actually do the keto diet, if you're really into your sports, especially sports like tennis, football, rugby, those sort of games, explosive sports, you're going to have to give it 2-3 months for your body to actually get used to running off fat rather than carbs. But once you do, then I have no doubt that you'd probably perform better than the average athlete that's using carbs and sugars and God knows what else in their diet. So I'm really excited about this ketogenic diet with intermittent fasting. It's the fastest growing diet at the moment, and I would love to see some sports people out there actually give this diet a go and see how it improves their abilities after 2-3 months. So please like and subscribe, and please pop a comment down. I'm always accepting donations in Bitcoin, etc., altcoins, to help improve this channel as well, so I can bring you more content. So thanks for your time. Thanks a lot. Bye.